For Kansas City's schedule. They're favored in every game on their schedule except Week 9 against their Bills. What is your reaction to KC?
Understood. They have been the dominant team of the AFC, feeding right off that dynasty talk. You could talk about the way they've ended the season last year against the Eagles, and of course they play the NFC in some games, including the Eagles this year, but find me any week where you're picking against Mahomes in the AFC, regular season or playoffs. I won't be the team to do it, and I won't be the guy to do it.
Is this finally Buffalo's year? Is this finally Josh Allen's year?
No, because last year was a year when Kansas City was gettable, right? Now they went out and solidified their offensive line. Rashee Rice is going to be back. They re-signed Hollywood Brown, right? So they're going to be able to have weapons, and Patrick Mahomes is going to have time to burp the baby a little bit in the back because they solidified the offensive line.
Oh, I miss that in football season. I miss hearing your burp the baby phrase. I really like it. Let's get to the Patriots next. They are favored. The New England Patriots are favored right now in 11 of their 17 games. This is a team that up until the last week of the season figured to get the #1 overall pick in the draft. Yeah. Suddenly, are we living in a world where the New England Patriots, led by Mike Vrabel and Drake May, are going to be good?
I think the delta, which is the difference between last year's team and this year's team, is so enormous that maybe the folks in Vegas have moved themselves a little too fast here. Mike Vrabel is an adult in the room. Josh McDaniels is one of the greatest offensive play callers in NFL history. They come in and they replace a staff that was in over their heads. 11 games being favored out of 17. That seems a little rich. I don't have them a playoff team yet, but they are a professionally coached team once again.
Patriots in the playoffs this year, yes or no, Bart Scott?
Not at all. They went out and bought a lot of good, high-quality ingredients, but that still doesn't make it a good meal. You know, you got to depend on a lot of older guys. Stephon Diggs coming off an injury. Morgan Moses, he's great when he's available. The problem is he hasn't been available. Vrabel, they get a +2 because of Vrabel. You know you have an adult in the room, somebody that's not going to be out-coached. But, no, I don't think they're a playoff team.
All right, one more. The Browns, Peter, are underdogs in all but one game. There are 3 teams, I believe, that are only favored in one game this season. Cleveland is one of them. What do you make of the Browns?
I think it makes sense. They were awful last year, and I don't think they drastically improved in any way this offseason. Now, they paid their defensive lineman, who's already been on the team. That's been a terrible team for the last several years.
Right. Myles Garrett didn't get better. He just got more expensive.
He just got more money.
They gave him the plan, right? He bought into the plan.
He bought into the plan. I guess he knew that the quarterback situation would be Flacco and Pickett, so he feels very comfortable right now.
The quarterback situation is not Flacco and Pickett.
Go on.
Can I stop you there?
Go on.
The quarterback situation is named Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns, in the 5th round, selected a player who at worst was a 2nd-round talent. There were a million extenuating circumstances. I can't wait to watch the 30 for 30 someday on exactly what happened that left Shedeur Sanders available for them to take in the 5th round. But this could wind up being, I do not believe this is hyperbole, this could wind up being one of the real steals in recent draft memory.
I mean, they gave him a battery pack. They gave a kid that was already held to a high standard because of the name on his back and how his dad handles being a professional. You gave him motivation. You gave him a chip on the shoulder. It's not about the money. It's for the opportunity. And now this guy, you're going to get a focused, lasered-in guy that's going to live every day and approach every day to prove everybody wrong.
I was covering the Seahawks when Russell Wilson, as a 3rd-round pick, outplayed the great Matt Flynn and the late Travaris Jackson and won that job. Shedeur's going to have to win the job. It's not going to be given to him. So we could say this on Get Up in May and say, well, he's great. And Mel Kiper could be upset and all that stuff. He has to now do it himself. The question is, can he do it when it gets on the field?
Back on Get Up, owners' meetings, important stuff getting decided. Schrager, let's run the hurry up. What is the latest on the Tush push?
They have updated the language of the proposal, and now it says offensive players cannot assist the runner except by individually blocking opponents. Packers eliminated the words immediately at the snap in the language, meaning they made it a little bit more flexible, a little more digestible. Wednesday, we should know whether it gets banned or not, but I'm thinking it's trending towards we will no longer see the tush push in the NFL.
Bart, should it be banned?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, the NFL, long history of not wanting predetermined outcomes. That's why they moved the field goal back. And this is a predetermined, this is a predetermined outcome. The fact that one side gets the push, so it's 6 against 2. You know what I mean? I think it's unfair, and I think it's a predetermined outcome.
How much does this impact the Eagles? We're talking about them trying to repeat this. It's such a huge part of what they do as they face 1st and 9 on every series. How much, if this goes out of the sport, does this put a significant crimp in their chances of winning the the whole thing again.
Well, I think it makes them have to find another way. And listen, they took advantage of the rules. That's what great teams do. They take advantage of the rules. New England for years always had some wrinkle where they took advantage of the rules and say they'll figure it out and take it out next year. I think with Saquon Barkley with that offensive line, they can find a way to be high percentage on 4th and 1.
Let's do a couple more. Schrager, what is the latest on this playoff seeding that they're voting on?
Yeah, the thought is that the NFL would say, let's reward the teams with the most wins as opposed to just division winners by giving them a home playoff game. I hear that this might not get passed, that there might not necessarily be the movement this year for this. The truth of the matter is there are people on the competition committee who have come out and said, if you're not going to play the same exact schedule, you can't reward just who has the most wins. There's different divisions playing different divisions. It all works out that way. Fact of the matter is division winner should still have a home playoff game at the end of the road. They have to get 24 of 32 votes. They didn't have it in March. I don't know if they're going to get it in May.
Nothing's perfect, but I like the system the way it is. Reseeding, like you said, strength of schedule is important, right? So you can have an easy schedule. Of course, you're going to have a lot of wins, but the cream rises to the top. And the best way to determine is to win your division because those teams likely have the most similar schedules. So that's the fairest way it can go. Win your division. That's the goal of every year. You go in there to win your division.
Greeny, last year, the NFC North played the NFC South. 3 different teams from the NFC North made the playoffs. None of them won a playoff game.
Yeah, that's right.
That's 6 home
schedule matters. Schedule matters.
It does, and there were extenuating circumstances in that with the injuries and all that, but I understand what you're saying. Lastly, you brought this up yesterday. I have to admit, I didn't pay much attention. Now it sounds like it's gaining steam. What is going on with flag football in the Olympics?
I put a hand up. I was very flippant on this as well, and I heard from folks at both the Players Union and the league office saying, don't laugh at the idea of this getting passed. It might happen as soon as today, that NFL players will have the ability to play in the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028 in flag football. There are going to be guardrails in place, things such as only 1 player per country per NFL team, that the training and the medical staff has to be up to snuff, that the playing surface has to be approved by the NFL, and there would be salary cap rewards if a player, God forbid, got hurt competing in the Olympics before training camp. But this looks like this might pass today. We might have NFL players in the Olympics as soon as 2028.
So as it should.
You like it.
As it should, right? If the NBA can go get a gold medal and I can get extra cheese on my taco, go get to see the world, get to tell everybody I'm a world champion, of course
okay, they're in LA, but okay. I'm not going to see that much of the world, but eventually maybe.
They're not one and done with the Olympics.
That's it. Fair enough. We asked you, put together the dream team. What would be the unbeatable flag football team of NFL players?
Yes, well, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. I need somebody with a great catch radius, so I'm going to go Justin Jefferson. Now I need somebody that can make you miss in space. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs because, I need speed. I'm going to go Penei Sewell and maybe Action Jackson with a hyphen slash to Kyler Murray, because you need somebody that's low to the ground.
Got to pick one.
Somebody will pull a hamstring trying to reach that low, grab his flag.
I'm picturing now, I have to confess, I don't really know much about the blocking element of flag football, but Penei Sewell in there against,
He has a rugby background, too, so you reach for your flag. You got to go through some girth to get to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Penei Sewell would be a fairly dominant flag football player, I think.
I want to apologize to all the Latvian flag football players. Yesterday on the show, I said, I don't need to see Tyreek Hill hurting himself against Latvia. I have heard back from a lot of Latvian flag football players.